A very warm good afternoon to everybody present here. It's my pleasure to be here, part of this workshop, and indeed a privilege to present my doctoral research findings at this forum. And I would like to specially thank OGTC, its member company, and specifically Radnik Exports for all the cooperation they have extended during this study and even after that. So I'm really grateful for all that. And let me now start with the study. This is a research study which I had conducted where empowering persons with disability in garment manufacturing skill was conducted through the specifically designed training modules for these people. It was a doctoral research. So since we are talking about persons with disability, so we would briefly talk about what is disability. We all know as defined by the Right to Persons with Disability Act 2012, a person with disability is any person with a long-term impairment. It can be anything physical, mental, intellectual. But the point here to notice is it is not only the impairment that a person has, it is not his impairment, his physical or mental impairment. Disability is not something a person has, but it occurs due to interaction between a person, his or her functional ability, and the environment. So disability comes into picture only when then that person is interacting with the other person, or he is in a different environment which is not accessible to him or her. So actually it's both ways. You can say even the other people are disabled to actually interact with that person. So if we put ourselves in that particular stage and consider ourselves that we are neglecting somewhere, that we are not able to approach that person, so we'll be able to understand it in a better manner. This is a table which shows the statistics given by Census of India 2011, where it says like total Indian population, out of total Indian population, 2.21% of the people are having some kind of disability in India, whereas these statistics are quite varying. Different organizations have different way of going to it. Like there are some other NGOs which say actually it's 6% of the total population. So we can't just go by the statistics, but still they are considered as the largest minority, and their problems need to be addressed. Now, so for the present study, I had taken 3 different disabilities which were more prevalent, which are more prevalent in India. That is disability in movement, hearing, and seeing. So the target population constituted of these 3 disabilities. We all know about the overview of the garment manufacturing unit. We all have the same background. Just to give you a slight input on it. It is one of the largest industries which is having a lot of employment generation, and also it is one of the greatest industries in terms of foreign exchange earnings. There are around 30,000 garment manufacturing units all over India, and around 3 million people are working in this industry, and actually this number is growing more and more. More and more employments are being generated. And also they need trained manpower at every level, and more so at the grassroots level. Coming to the other side, since most of the jobs are repetitive, non-hazardous, non-locomotive, and semi-skilled in nature, so most of the jobs which are performed in the manufacturing units, they does not require a lot of skill. They are repetitive, so it is felt that these jobs can be easily performed by the persons with disability if they are capably placed according to their capacities. And thus this sector can play a major role in sharing corporate social responsibility, and this would actually be not a charity to them but a mutually beneficial enterprise for such people. So with this, I would take you to the significance of the study, where at one end you can see that the persons with disability, they are a reservoir of untapped potential, and if you train them in a rich, stimulating environment, they can actually give very good results. They have been working in the industry and giving very efficient results. And also there is a huge shortage of labor, and diversity at workplace is being increasingly recognized these days. So more and more people should be employed in the industry. And on the other side, you can see there are 4 different factors which are actually hindering all the development in this area, because most of the, you can see, because these days the world of work majorly is defined or developed for the able-bodied. The specific needs of persons with disability are not taken into consideration. So most of the training programs which are present, they all lack job-oriented training skills for them. And also there is a lack of adaptation of the curriculum which is there and the infrastructure under which they are trained. And moreover, even the employers who are actually going to employ them, they have a lot of apprehensions, which we will be discussing later on, which I have actually come across while I was doing this study. So as a result, they are not able to employ such people, and also there is a lack of consultation of various stakeholders. So with all this significance in mind, a study was planned with the various objectives, where in order to gain information about the target population, their characteristics and abilities were studied, and also efforts were made to study the current scenario of training and employment of these people through different sections. Like interviews were also conducted with the garment manufacturing owners of the manufacturing units, or with the persons who were already employed, and also the personnel in charge in the segregated vocational training institutions. Besides that, the existing vocational training programs were also studied, so that we could actually find out what is present and where there are you can say gaps or which need to be fulfilled. As a result of the findings, new training modules were developed, field tested, and finally awareness was created among the various stakeholders. This is the conceptual work of framework of the study, where you can see the various objectives were fulfilled. First objective was fulfilled through review of literature and interviews with persons with all the 3 disabilities. So study that what are their capabilities and where all they have certain limitations, so that accordingly when we were doing the job mapping, these things could be kept in mind, and accordingly the job mapping could be done. And this in order to work on the second objective, that is to study the current scenario, information was gained from 3 different levels, that is personnel in charge in the garment manufacturing units, from the people who were already employed in the persons with disability already employed in the industry, to get their viewpoint and what is their work experience, and also information was gained from personnel in charge in the segregated institution, that is the NGOs which were being run specifically for these disabilities. And also course content which was procured from the various segregated institutions and the mainstream institutions was also analyzed to get an in-depth knowledge of what is actually being provided, what actually is being taught to them and what actually is required, so that accordingly the new modules could be developed. All this information led to the formation of the training modules, which were then after that awareness was generated among the various stakeholders. So this was the in brief the conceptual framework of the study. Now I'll briefly take you to the findings of my study, where when interviews were conducted with the personnel in charge in the GMUs, their perspective on employability was studied, and it was focused that out of those 25 units, 72% of them were actually employing persons with disability, already employing them. And you can see from the table that out of those 72 to 32% were actually having a total workforce of 500 or below. So it is not that if it's a bigger company only then they are employing people. So even a smaller company with a smaller number of workforce can also employ them. And also those who were not employing, it was basically emphasized that they feel that there is a lack of trained people with disabilities. So since there is lack, they are not being trained in an appropriate manner, and hence they are not able to employ them, though they were willing. So you can see that here there's a urgent need for developing appropriate modules and then training them on those modules. Again, as we already, this is one of the significance that they are able to perform, they are potential, they have a lot of potential to perform. So even the same feedback was given by the personnel in charge in the GMUs also, which they actually said that majority of them, like 66.66% of them, said that their performance was at par or even better at times from the other people, other co-workers. So hence they are able to perform. So we should not segregate them as a group which are not able to perform. Again, variations are here. Are in the same way as the able-bodied. Even in the able-bodied workers, you can find that variation, and the same variation is here also. Very few of them, however, reported that they were not regular and efficient, which I suggest can be handled if they are actually placed as per their capabilities. So if they are given a job which they are capable of performing and they are comfortable performing it, as a result, they'll you can say that type of job will not make them so tired on the work that they will often need leaves for covering up or whatever problems they are having because of that job. So this is why this is how this problem can be tackled if they are properly placed and their capabilities are judiciously matched with their capabilities. And also, all the respondents were willing to employ them, and even 80% agreed that they could even do minor adjustments to accommodate them in the industry. So this is a very positive note from the industry that they are willing to employ them. In fact, as we'll come later, like many of them actually trained them also in the units and then employed. So this has to be taken further so that more and more people can be employed. This is a table which shows work experience of persons with disability who were already employed in the industry. So you can see people with all sorts of disability were employed, and they were having varying degrees of impairment. And in spite of all that, they were handling all different job responsibilities like sewing machine operations, quality checking, fusing, folding, packaging, ticketing, and endless, like almost all the jobs were being handled by them very successfully. Whereas if we go on to the place of training, you will find that most of them have been trained either under a local fabricator or a tailor, or the major chunk, you can see 30% was being trained by Saburi Disability Division, which was an NGO, but unfortunately it is not, recently it is not being run. So that was, you can say 60% is only trained under these two places. And here you can see it, in fact 22% of the units are also training. So most 22% of the people who were already employed in the industry, they have been trained in the units itself. Whereas if you come to the mainstream institutions, only 6% of them were able to get training from the mainstream institutions. So that is a very limited, or you can less percentage of people who were actually able to reach that mainstream institutions and get the training. So this shows that these institutions are not accessible to persons with disability. Coming to the third aspect, where in order to study the current scenario, the personnel in charge in in segregated vocational training institutions, they were approached, and these were the various constraints that they had highlighted in training, like shortage of funds, lack of adequate infrastructure required, difficulty in arranging for trained and experienced faculty, and also a lot of time and energy was required because their training needs constant supervision. So that is okay, but these things are there. But you can see that even in the placement section, there were various constraints. Again, similar type, we all know that these are the constraints because there is lack of customized training. Then there is absence of exposure to work environment. They are not familiar with what actually is required in the industry. There is no partnership among the various stakeholders. That is the while I have been working on this topic, I felt like a lot of people are doing at their own level, a lot of work is being done, but there is no collaboration. That collaboration is actually required to take this work further so that each of us can know what the other person is doing, and we can take this further. And again, inaccessible transportation, work and inaccessible workplace. The work areas are not accessible to them. There are limited placement options, and also there is lack of sensitization among the employers and the co-workers. So these are the various, you can say, constraints which needs to be addressed. And while interviews, various suggestions were also given by these people, so that if we are developing modules, these points should be kept in mind. It was suggested by the personnel in charge of the garment manufacturing units that the modules should focus on learning of multiple tasks. There should be theoretical knowledge along with the practical aspect. Internship should be there, training. They should be trained in the social skills, and even the machines, if required, could be made user-friendly for them. And on the other side, even the personnel in charge in the segregated institutions, they also suggested that the work areas where actually their potential can be recognized should be identified, which would actually lead them to the decent employment in the industry. And also the curriculum that is there should match the requirements of the industry. Also, and in addition, the infrastructure on which they are trained should also be as per the requirements of the industry. So taking all these suggestions in mind, and even when the content analysis was done of the various courses which are being offered by the various institutions, either at the segregated level or in the mainstream, all the courses except one provided by the ATDC, they are all focusing on the just basic machine operations, which will only make them capable of using it either for the personal use or work from home or with a local tailor. They would not be able to reach to that industry level. And also, besides sewing, no other tasks have been included in these. None of the courses were talking about raw material inspection, cutting, finishing, packaging. All these areas have not been dealt with any of these courses. Then there is a mismatch of the skills required and the skills produced, because these courses have not been reviewed since long. The same old traditional courses are being run again and again without actually finding out whether they are suitable for the present days or not. So this is a reality of number of courses which are being run. And also the infrastructure is not in tune with the requirements of the modern high-tech industries. So as a result, even in the mainstream, there is a 3% reservation provided by the government that these people should be admitted into the institutions. But as a result, because of all these problems, they are not actually able to utilize this 3% reservation. When I had actually gone to these institutions, there were hardly any persons with disability who were actually learning these programs. There were hardly any people who were admitted or doing these courses. On the other hand, the courses which were run by ATDC, we all know they are very industry specific, but they are not developed as per the requirements of the industry. So as a result, they are not able to benefit from them. So keeping all this information in mind, training modules were developed. So the first step for development of modules was that all the tasks which were performed in the industry were studied, a checklist of all the tasks was prepared, and then the skills and knowledge required for performing all these tasks was studied. by observing the operator, by interviews with the operators and the supervisors, and even the self-attempt to perform those tasks. As a result, we could come to know that what all skills and knowledge are required to teach that particular tasks. So equipped with the knowledge about the target population and also equipped with the knowledge about the requirements of the job mapping was done, where such a checklist was developed, where you can see at one end all the tasks are listed down. So similar checklist was developed for each section. This is for the cutting section, and against which you can see the various physical abilities which are required to perform all these tasks. And as per the requirements of the physical abilities, so suitability for the type of impairment was also defined. So as in the end, because of this checklist, we were able to segregate the tasks for the different types of target populations. For all the 3 disabilities, tasks were listed against them. And now these lists were taken to the various experts in the industry, academics, and to the special educators working with these peoples to get their feedback and recommendation. And it was found that as per the recommendation, the employment of persons with visual impairment was considered very narrow. So most of the industry experts, they said that it would be difficult for us to take in persons with visual impairment. So since there was not much positive response, so as a result, it was decided to do the feasibility study of these tasks. So we took 2 trainees, one with total visual impairment and one with partial visual impairment, and they were made to do all these tasks, and hence we could find out that most of the tasks, as you can see, they were able to perform with or without any type of modification. Here I would like to discuss one of the modifications with you, which was very cost effective. Hardly any cost was involved in it. This is a control panel of hydro extractor. So we actually, they were made to operate the various machines in the washing area. So rest of all the operations they could easily perform by feeling the buttons, press buttons and operating it. But there was a problem to set the temperature because they could not feel and set the temperature. So as a result, by the help of Blind Relief Association, a embossed dial was developed which was stuck around the time regulator. So as a result, they could actually feel those embossed marking which were at every 5 minutes interval. So they could feel, count the markings, and then as a result set the temperature and operate the machine effectively. So this was a very cost effective modification. Hardly any cost was incurred. So after incorporating the results of the feasibility study and also after incorporating the various suggestions given by the experts, the final module outlines were developed. So these are the 3 base modules which were developed for persons with locomotor impairment in lower limbs. There were 2 modules developed for persons who had one functional limb, so that with one of them they could actually easily operate the sewing machine. So that was a basic sewing machine operations and advanced sewing machine operations. And the 3rd module was developed for persons who were bound to wheelchair. It was found that there are a number of tasks which actually they can do, which happen in between the various sections, like in sewing, in the finishing, and even the cutting area. But the industry have to be accessible to them. There has to be ramps or lifts so that they can easily enter or exit these industries. And as I feel, since more and more units are now moving to the outskirts of Delhi and new buildings are being constructed, so where you actually need to follow all those accessibility criteria. So in that case, such a module will not be something that cannot be implemented. These are the 3 modules for persons with hearing impairment. Now, as we all know, hearing impairment in case of hearing impairment, the people can perform all sorts of jobs. They can work in the cutting section, in the raw material section, in the finishing, sewing, packaging, everywhere. So for them, all the tasks were assembled together, compiled together to formulate 3 different modules which covered all aspects of the industry. Besides that, 2 modules were developed for persons with visual impairment. So there were a lot of tasks, in between tasks in the sections where they could actually work as helpers. So 2 modules were developed, one where they could work as helper in washing and sewing and washing, and in the second module they could work as helper in finishing and packaging. Finally, these modules were detailed in the form of a booklet where each and every aspect was given in detail so that these could be referred to as a reference manual for the trainers who are going to train these people. And this is what comprised the complete module. It included guidelines to the trainer as to what strategies they have to follow when they are training such people, what is going to be the preparatory work required, what is going to be the training sequence, and the process of evaluation. Then followed by this was a compulsory section which each module contained, that was section on orientation and adjustment training, because this was very important from point of view of that they should be familiar with their work area where they are working, and also they should be aware of the various occupational and health hazards which they might occur when they are working in the industry, and more specifically development of job related work behavior. They should have specific soft skill so that they are well adjusted in the industry. And then thereafter, after this compulsory section, in each section all the modules were detailed with respect to the training time required, learning outcome, materials required, activities and steps for performing each task. It was detailed completely so that whosoever is referring to it has a complete guideline how to go about. Plus it had a lot of illustrations and practice exercises in the end. Thus, the developed modules had all these salient findings. These were disability specific, industry oriented, short-term courses with flexible time duration. So as we know, each person has a different capability and grasping power, so we had given flexible time duration to these modules so that it can vary depending upon person who is being trained. Then eligibility criteria for each module was defined. It was a complete in itself and also had multiple tasks so that in the end the person can get employment in the industry. And focus was on minimum knowledge and skill. We did not go into very advanced level because as we know styles keep changing, all the procedures they all keep changing, so if they know the basic, they have the basic knowledge about how to work on that task, that additional knowledge can be learned on the job. And they were trained in the use of industrial tools and equipments, and again more importantly good handling techniques which are most important in the industry. They should know that how they are supposed to handle the task, and so that they save on maximum time and more amount of production can be done. And as we have seen, very cost effective work aid modifications were suggested, and it was a compulsory section on orientation and adjustment training which actually equipped them to the and make them adjust in the industry. And also there was internship which was a compulsory part of this training program so that they are well adapted to the work environment of the industry. So these were the salient features. And finally these modules were field tested. Due to limitations in time and logistics, all the modules could not be field tested. So we picked up both the modules for the persons with visual impairment because this is the area which is more challenging. So we wanted to field test both the modules. Also along with this, one module each for persons with locomotor impairment and hearing impairment was picked up. Since the first module, that is basic sewing operation module for both locomotor and hearing impairment, was common, so we picked up that because this is the area which is quite in demand. The machine operators are quite in demand in the industry, so we picked up this module for both other disabilities. And as you can see, the training was conducted at Radnik Exports, so the complete credit for this training goes to Radnik Exports. Coming to how these training modules were conducted, these are the various strategies which were involved, That is, depending upon the what type of disability they have, accordingly the senses were used. Like in case of hearing impairment, visual, tactile and kinesthetic learning was used, and there was more use of sign language. And in case of visual impairment, it was auditory and tactile representation, and the language which was used was very descriptive and specific in nature. We can't say here and there, we have to actually specify either right or left. So all these things were kept in mind. A set sequence was followed. The person was first of all oriented to the place and then trained in the basic social skills which were required, and after that he was introduced to the various skills which were required for performing that task one by one. After he was demonstrated those tasks, he was then put on trial run, where actually he himself tried that task under the constant supervision, and finally he was given ample time to practice that particular task to achieve maximum efficiency. And during this time, his efficiency was noted time and again. Each individual was observed individually. Every 2 hours, his efficiency was noted down, and efficiencies were calculated so that we could actually find out that what level of efficiency they are working and whether they will be acceptable in the industry or not. So I'll just briefly take you through the findings of the field testing. So this is the first module, which is basic sewing operations, which was conducted both for persons with locomotor impairment and hearing impairment, and they were trained on the various tasks like orientation to single needle lock stitch machine, the basic adjustment that were required, simple sewing exercises, and dexterity and work handling while they are performing on the sewing machine. And in the end, they were given various practice exercises. You can see there were various exercises they were given where they had to perform those exercises so as to reach their maximum efficiency, and you can see most of them were able to achieve their level of performance was above 60%, which is, I think, mostly acceptable in the industry. So they were able to actually achieve above 60, and more, and many of them were also above 70 or 80% in some of the cases. So they have been able to perform. They were given the similar kind of exposure. They were working in the industry setup only on the same kind of machines. Similar exercises were given, and the same SAM values which are used for the industry were used here also for calculating their efficiency, so that we could actually see that they are able to perform or not. And actually they were able to perform. Then this is the second module, that module for the persons with visual impairment. The module which was conducted for helper in sewing and washing. The various tasks were performed, cutting, like there are various in between sewing section ke beech mein there are a lot of tasks which actually have to be performed, like cutting of various garment components using fixed template, inverting of flaps, waistbands, inserting strap adjusters, drawstrings into the garment, counting of garments, and operating the machines in the washing area. So these are the basic, very simple tasks which are there, but if persons with visual impairment are trained in these tasks, they are able to perform. So you can see a graphical representation of the performance of trainees where they were supposed to cut the garment components to a fixed length. As we know that there are a lot of components like laces, ribbons, button loops, all these need to be cut to a specific size as per the requirement. Normally what the operators do, they do the markings on the table and then they measure it. But in case of persons with visual impairment, it is not possible. They will not be able to identify those marks. So to make this task actually workable for them, we had developed a very small cardboard templates. Cardboard templates were made, and these were stuck on the table so that they could actually feel the edges of the template and very conveniently cut these components. So that was again when I actually suggested to the person who was there supervising, he said it will not work, but actually when we tried and worked, and in fact the production manager commented that their efficiency level was much higher as compared to the other people, because a similar style was done earlier and there was a lot of wastage while they were cutting these components. Whereas in case of persons with visual impairment, you can see one of the trainees had actually reached 100% efficiency. So she was cutting with so much of efficiency, because actually they are visually impaired, they are not distracted here and again, and they can perform actually much better. This is again a graphical representation of other two tasks, inverting of flaps, inserting strap adjusters. So just to give you an idea that all of them were able to achieve above 60%. Though the time varied, they were taking different amount of time to reach that level, but they were able to attain this level. The second module was on finishing and packaging, where they were trained to operate thread sucking machine, prepare accessory pouches. There's a simple task of preparing the pouches, stringing the tags, then closing various fasteners, inserting belts into the garments, tagging, folding, packaging in polybag. These are all tasks which are performed in all the units, and they are very simple tasks. All these tasks involve day-to-day learning. So we all wearing a clothes close our buttons, so they know actually how to close it. So we don't have to actually put in a lot of work to train them. It is very easy to train them by making them feel that how it has to be done, and we can get very good results. So in fact, I am so well of this training these people, persons with visual impairment. I did it myself on the floor with them in the line itself. So it is like a great experience for me, and they had actually picked up so well and performed so well. So I really remember those areas and those times, and it was a great pleasure. Another these are various activities where the performance of the trainees in tagging of the garments using a tag gun, and also while packing of the garments in the polybags. They all were able to achieve 60% efficiency. Sorry. Okay, that was the statistics about the study. Now this is what were the various apprehensions which I had come across while interviewing various, you can say, personnel in charge in the garment manufacturing units. First is PWDs are not able to perform at par with the able-bodied co-workers. But as the results, you have seen that most of them have been able to perform, and they are giving acceptable performance levels. So again, this does not hold any truth. They show high rate of absenteeism. This might be there, but in the yesterday's session, we all have heard the same is the case for the other people. We are actually talking about a lot of absenteeism, employee turnover, then lack of social skills. So these are the general problems, not specifically related to persons with disability. Then there, again, like I talked about, lack of social skills. If we have a proper training with them on the social skills, as we have included in the training modules, they can be well adjusted in the industry. Then their presence increase accident frequency in the industry. This is also one of the apprehensions, that if they are present, there are chances of more accidents. But it has to be both ways. First of all, we have to place them suitably as per their capacities, where they can easily work without any hazards. And secondly, it is a responsibility of the people around the supervisors or the managers to maintain safe working conditions for them. So if we have to go a little forward so that they can actually be taken up by the industry. Then evacuation of units during emergencies could be problematic for PWDs. Again, this can be taken care of if you have persons with hearing impairment or visual impairment employed in the industry. You can have alarms installed, or you can have light flashes in the area where they are working. So whenever there is emergency, they can be informed, and it would not be a very much difficulty in evacuation. Then coordinating with persons with hearing and speech impairment would be difficult. So this is a written language, and it will be difficult initially, but once you get used to interacting with them, it will be not at all a problem, because actually I have interacted with them during my training sessions. So if I could do, everybody can do it. And also accommodating PWDs would require a lot of modifications in the factory. Again, which is not true, because we conducted this training in the Radnik Exports, the units which were not at all, did not have any lifts, did not have any ramps. These people were able to come to the training area themselves independently and again go back. So this is not the case, but it is always important. But again, there can be, if there is a possibility, the work areas can be made accessible to them, so that it is more convenient for these people to be employed in the industry. So these are the simple rules based on the apprehensions that how to become disabled friendly. You can inculcate a disability mission in your company's statement, include a positive attitude towards PWDs, follow non-discriminatory employment practices, conduct regular orientation programs for the staff to encourage positive relations, be accessible to them, extend certain extra benefits like transportation, right to special leaves, or some kind of additional medical leaves if required, creating a safe working environment to prevent health hazards, and also provide opportunity for training in skill development for the PWDs. And also, if they are not able to come to the industry, there's other way around also. We can also outsource work to them in their respective areas. So this is how we can become disabled friendly. On this note, I end up my presentation. Thank you all.